Hi guys, I'm Chef Michael Keane and welcome back to the FeelGoodNow Kitchen. Today we'll be preparing a delicious summer appetizer of deviled baby potatoes. This is perfect for summer and something you can make in advance. The ingredients for this dish begin with the star of our show, baby red potatoes. These are wonderful because of all the sweetness that's involved in a baby potato versus the higher development of starch that you're going to have in a more mature product. Next up we have a fantastic organic butter. This is a sweet cream butter, so you're going to have very little salt element to it. It's just going to add a little bit of a nice creaminess to the potatoes as we whip them. We'll add to that Neufchâtel cheese. This is a cream cheese basically with a little modification, and we'll talk about that later. And we finish off with organic thyme. This is a savory, wonderful spice. It's great with poultry, it's great with potatoes. This is good stuff.
The first step is to boil the potatoes.
And now to prepare our thyme. All you do is you take the stick and then moving across the grain, you pull the leaves down off of the stem. This is a little bit of an exercise in patience, but well worth it because this is gorgeous stuff. And now that we have the thyme all off of the stems, I'm going to dice it a little finer so that we don't end up with any large pieces to get stuck in anyone's throats. Now you'll see that I've diced it into almost a fine, not quite a powder, but fairly fine consistency. Now that our baby potatoes have been boiled and then strained and cooled down, it's time for me to get them ready for the final preparation. I'll do this by making two cuts. One to create a flat side, and then the other to remove the top side. This gives me a nice little disc that I can later pipe our filling onto the top of. We'll do that for every one of these. Hold aside the top and the bottom. We're going to use that as part of the filler for the top. We're also going to mix in Neufchâtel cream cheese. This is basically like classic cream cheese with about a third less fat. This is an organic product, so it's going to be a little healthier, and then of course good for the planet and good for you. Next we'll drizzle melted butter, about a third of the stick, over the top of all of our potatoes. That's our decadent little portion here. We'll add to that all of our finely diced thyme, and then we'll start out with half of a container of the Neufchâtel cream cheese and add more in as we mash as necessary. That's when you have to play a little bit by eye, since every type of potato has a little different dryness and a little different texture. So with your hand masher, just go ahead and get right in there and incorporate this all together. And it's a little bit of effort to start with, and then you'll get it really nice and creamy by the end here. Now if you insist on a finer texture to the topping, you could go ahead and do this in a blender. I like doing it by hand. It connects me to the food, and it's got a really nice rustic element to it. But of course, this is your recipe, so do with it as you will. To finish these off, we take one of the discs of potato that we made, and then we're going to, using a spoon, just smear a nice generous dollop on top. You can use the edge of the spoon to shape it, and that is all she wrote. Gives us a nice handheld little appetizer. And that was our recipe for deviled baby potatoes. I'm Chef Michael Keane for the FeelGoodNow Kitchen. Bon appetit.